My name is Yazan Khalili. I studied architecture at Birzeit University and did my MA at Goldsmith in the research architecture, and then did my MFA in the Sandberg Institute in Amsterdam. I'm a visual artist and cultural activist. I run Khalil Sakini Cultural Center now, and I teach here at AQB in the media department. I produce work which is mostly image-based. So I produce a work so I'm a visual artist, so I so much in my work think of the visuals and think of ways to critique the image and to critique politics through image. So I try to work with these kind of two lines, to critique the medium itself, and through critiquing the medium, I'm critiquing the context which I'm producing the medium in. So that's somehow the work I do, or that's my interest in my work. I get my inspirations from different resources. I would say the context around me, where I live, what I do, who I meet, the political context of Palestine, etc. That's one. The other context is the media, the internet. I get so much inspiration from this world that we enter through these devices. So I'm interested in what's in the internet and how we access the internet. And I'm also inspired by things I read, artworks I see or know about, videos, other practices, different disciplines. The students inspire me a lot. So. This question, which I know, what they say, an image speaks 1,000 words. I think it belongs to a different time. Now the image is filled with, that belonged to a time where the image was more factual and tries to tell truth, or holds truth in it. Now I think image is not as truthful as it used to be, or as we thought it used to be. Now image is filled with fiction, with different possibilities, and therefore I think I don't belong to that kind of saying. I'm more into how do we work, image and text work together. So you see in many of my work, the image and the text are combined together, and they work together, and they try to produce together a certain kind of narrative or certain kind of language that they speak through. There's a work that I did, Landscape of Darkness. I did it in 2008, 2009. That was somehow a work that led me to really question what the image is. It's a work that I did of Palestinian landscapes at night, and it was filled with darkness. It's mostly dark images with some lights, and I was interested in these images that fail to represent the context and the conflict. The second project would be the book I did called On Love and Other Landscapes. That was a book that somehow in it I worked very closely between image and text, and and somehow through it I also began working on the possibilities of images, how to speak, um, how to work with images to make a critical political project or questions. So between it's a love story, very much about love and emotions, but at the same time it's a very political project that questions the production of the image. The third one is The Rock, Flying Stone, Falling Stone, and it's a project that questions the institution. What does it, how does it present itself, and how does the artwork somehow challenges what the institution can hold and do. So in a way, it's a project in between the fact that it's part of the Jerusalem Lives exhibition, and it's about Jerusalem and the meaning of the stone to Jerusalem, and that kind of history or political history of the stone itself. And at the same time, what is the museum and how does the museum relate to the exhibitions or the exhibited artworks in it. So it's between that kind of history and that kind of possibility of the museum. Yeah, it relates to them through the context. So we are all somehow working in, from this kind of context of being Palestinians or working from Palestine. But it also relates to them through a kind of some criticality, like what is Palestinian art and how do we, what does it mean that we are Palestinians and produce art in the Palestinian context? How do I relate to it? It's sometimes inspiration and sometimes it challenges me to question it or to work with it or against it. So it's a context that one has to take and work with. I'm beginning to be more interested in the technology, how the for instance, facial recognition technology is changing the way we look at things and understand things around us. So my next work is more about the political context that such technology produces, and how can one challenge that or work with that. Like it's about this techno-ideological gaze, I would say, like this gaze that is looking at us all the time through these devices, but how do we look back, or mainly how do we appear in front of it? How do we somehow bring in this gaze into our understanding of the world? So it's maybe a video or something, yes.